Hope you're all fierce. Welcome to The Performer's Path, the podcast where we delve into the highs and lows of the performance industry and beyond. If it's using your creative juices for onstage, in auditions, or those in-between jobs, we discuss it all with real people in the industry who've been there and got the t-shirt as a gift. By discussing audition rejections and success, we're taking away the fear of the unknown, whilst also giving vital tips for success. So let's tread the boards together in this week's episode. In our second episode of George Nightingale, he answers the big question, and he defines for us the difference between confidence and arrogance. These emails, these addresses that you're talking about, I know that my students wouldn't have the first clue about where to email, who to email, all that kind of malarkey. What was the pathway for you to find those email addresses and those contacts?
Well, I researched dancers that were already in the companies what I was wanting to audition for. And then I did the whole social media messaging on Instagram, asking whether they knew if there's any contracts available. If there was, did they have an assistant's email I could use? You just kind of have to network, and social media is amazing for that because dancers will help each other out. They're not going to ignore you. It's a small world. Everyone knows everybody. So, and then sometimes some websites with ballet companies have all their contact information on them.
Right.
So they have multiple email addresses. So I would email every single one of the email addresses that was on that website, hoping that it was the right pathway to getting seen.
So do you have a list of these contacts?
Yeah, I'll have them in my email somewhere, yeah.
Can you send them to me, please?
You want them? Absolutely.
I wasn't going to ask you this, but I am.
Go.
What is the difference for you between confidence and arrogance?
This is a really good question. I'm glad you asked it because I think confidence is an internal thing. If you're internally confident, it means you know you've either got the ability at the minute or that you've got the potential to have the ability at some point. I think arrogance is a bit for show.
Yes.
To me, arrogance isn't confidence.
And sometimes it comes from completely a place of, I can't do it, but I'm going to say I can.
Yeah, exactly. It's when you see people and their initial conversations with you is saying all they've got in life with material things. When you meet them kind of people, it's kind of like a similar thing. It means nothing to me, you know?
Yeah.
Confidence is definitely an internal feeling. Yeah, you see it in dancers. You see the quietly confident ones. I'm definitely a quietly confident dancer. You see it in their approach to work. It's almost like their class work or how they approach repertoire is like meditative.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not posy.
Yes.
It's like a soul thing. I think it's like, it's a soulful thing. And like, I also think with TikTok and how social media is right now, it's very showy.
Mm.
It's all of them likes on Instagram, and I'm like, it irritates me a little bit because I'm a bit like, what's the point of it?
Oh, it irritates the hell out of me. You need to have integrity in your performance. Otherwise, I'm bored. I've looked away after 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm not just bored, I'm irritated, actually.
Yeah. Also, I think what attracted you to dance in the first place, you do it for you, right? Because you enjoy to do it. So if you're doing it to please your following or an audience that you don't know, what's the point for you?
That brings me to this one. What motivated you in the first place? Apart from going to those dance classes, was it an internal thing or was it an external thing? Were you told you were good at it, or did it make you feel?
Yeah, it made me feel, definitely. I think also because you're constantly working on yourself as a dancer. I don't think you ever get that perfectionism moment. I've been doing it for 28 years, and I don't think even now I come off shows and I never say I did a good show. I'm like, oh, this needs work for tomorrow. This was bad. This wasn't good. And I think I kind of liked that you were constantly like sculpting yourself a little bit to find your fully formed self that you like. And
Yeah.
it's the same for me as a person. Like I'm still figuring myself out at 30 years old of what I like, what my interests are. Especially when I'm from like the north of the UK, where I think you're told a lot about how you should behave for a boy, what your like interest should be.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for example, there's a massive like sport culture in the north and football culture, and
Mhm.
I'm from like a small town, so if I didn't play football, it was kind of like I was looked at strange. I was kind of like the alien of my village because I was not like anyone that had ever been in that village before. I kind of revolted the other way. I was kind of a bit like, well, if I'm not going to fit in, I'm going to stand out. So
I love that.
yeah, I was like, there's no point. And even from like a young age, my mum has memories of me at like 7 being like, I'm going to move to London. Because I think I
Wow,
just
that
knew that,
early.
yeah, I think I just knew like the big city was calling.
Wow. At 7.
Yeah, like from a very young age. I think my dad took me to London to watch Lion King. And then from there, I was like, yeah, I need to be in the city.
Yeah. It's
Which
like when
is,
you feel like you belong there, especially if you've been in a small town like that and you
mm,
felt like you
yeah,
haven't fitted in, then that you
yeah.
go, that's where I will belong.
Yeah, absolutely. And even now, I very rarely spend time in London, to be honest, because I'm always touring. But whenever I go to London, I still have that feeling of, oh, this is home, not like the village
Yeah.
where I am from.
Yeah, I never had that from in Chester myself because I'm from Chester. For me, it was Essen, actually, in Germany. That
Oh,
was my home.
yeah.
Yeah, that was where I felt like
Oh,
home. So, what maintains your motivation now through those 8 shows a week? Through the no's as well. I'm sure there's been lots of no's as well as yeses.
oh, it's been more no's than yeses. Sometimes when I get a no or like, I get a rejection, I always don't hear it as a no. I always hear it as like a not now. I think that's a good way to look at it. Because I think if you just, I think no is very final and
Yeah.
negative. So I try and be like, not now, maybe I'm just not ready for it just yet, but maybe in the future, even with new adventures. I'm doing Swans now, but I've been in contact with them for a long time. Even though Swans was my first audition to be in the company, I've gone and taken company classes. Whenever they've had auditions, I've emailed to be like, maybe, would you be interested? It's never worked out. I've always been doing other projects. I've never been able to go, but I try and not listen to a no. I try to interpret it as a maybe not. The universe knows when it's time, and I try and listen to that gut
Yeah.
feeling. I think what motivates me is just that I just know I'm not done. When the moment the motivation goes, I think that's time to maybe stop. But I think the motivation is a good thing. I think it's like a gut feeling of someone or something telling you there's something coming. I don't know.
Perfect. How do you develop your artistry?
For me, how I develop it is I go and see lots of shows, even if it's not ballet. Like I'm a huge musical theatre fan. Musical theatre is like my passion. Can't sing to save my life, but
I don't believe you.
I'm not a naturally gifted singer. Put it that way.
Well, then go and learn.
Okay. So yeah, I try and see as much theatre as I can, like musicals, plays, opera. I think you learn the most by seeing like other people do what their thing is. Like all forms of theatre. Also, I find like directing really interesting. So if I see like a work that's been restaged like from a new perspective, I find that so intriguing. So I'm a bit like, oh, that's why I like Matthew Bourne so much because his restaging of classics is so
Yeah.
unique. It's got such a distinct vision on it and how he's interpreted the score and like the stories.
Have you spoken to him about that?
A little bit, yeah. I'd definitely love to like work with him more.
Yeah.
Like Christopher Wheeldon, like he's done ballets of Royal Ballet, and then now he's got MJ on like the West End. Like he's so creative and diverse, and it's not on stage. It's not them on stage; it's their work on stage. Like I find
Yeah.
that really interesting, like how they like get their like ideas out onto people.
What's
Yeah.
your aspiration for the future?
Well, I'm gonna keep dancing for as long as I can, for as long as I'm inspired to do so. And then I would like to do more of Matthew's works. I would love to. I've got a husband, so we want to settle somewhere at some point. I don't know where because he's a dancer, classical ballet dancer too, so he's also touring. Of course, not in the same company. We were for 8 years, but now we're doing our own thing. And then I would love to go into like directing, choreographing.
Tell me more.
I'd love to choreograph a modern Giselle. I love the score. The music is like passion of mine. I love that, how the music is written. So I've got some plays in my mind. I've got a musical that I'd love to do. I'd love to write a musical about Judy Garland. In my brain, it's kind of like her during her London Palladium shows. I want it to be kind of like set around then, and then there's like a lot of like flashbacks to her life. In my mind, I want it to be like a positive thing because my grandma went to see that at London Palladium when she was younger, so I wanted it to be almost like parallels between their lives because she was going through like a nasty divorce at the time, my grandma. So I wanted to kind of be like a two women. Yeah, that's kind of like my brain is where it's at.
Wow. Can you actually see it in your brain?
Yeah, I see it. Even when I hear for Giselle that I've got in my brain, like the music, I see the scenes, like I see where it would be in the narrative. I would love to do that at some point.
Well, you need to find that path because I'd love to go and see that.
Exactly. If anyone's listening who wants to invest, then
please
I've got a lot of
invest. Get in touch with George.
Yeah.
So if you saw yourself now at the Hammond and you could give yourself some advice, the thing that you regret the most, what was it, first of all?
Oh, gosh, what I regret. I would think I would have had a bit more confidence. I don't think I was very confident at that age, but I was a teenager figuring stuff out. I didn't know who I was, I think, and I think I just needed to have a bit more like trust in myself that I was good enough.
And what advice would you give yourself to do that now?
Well, I'll tell myself not to take it so serious.
Which is difficult when you're so passionate about something. It's hard to take it so seriously.
And have more fun, I would say. Have more fun and don't compare yourself to other people. Yeah.
I agree. The amount of people that say that, it's crazy, honestly, especially from the north, funnily enough.
I wonder if it's like a northern thing. It's always that thing of, oh, we're not good enough. I don't know. Imposter syndrome. But it's just like, 8 shows a week when you're fatigued. When you have a bad show, you do slip into it. It's like a trigger. You do slip into that whole like, oh, I had a bad show, I'm not good enough. Like, I'm embarrassed for more than people. Like, it didn't go well. And you have to actually recognize that fatigue isn't like strength.
So it's a bit more of a realistic evaluation of yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, you've done 2 shows yesterday. You're probably tired. You've not recovered. It doesn't mean that you're not strong enough to be in the show,
Precisely. So what do I learn from it? I need to take some more rest. So maybe need to do some progressive muscle relaxation or some meditation.
Go for a massage.
Exactly, yeah. But and automatically we bring it onto ourselves that we're not good enough. That is always the script that we say to ourselves.
Well, especially with dancing, it's ingrained into you, especially from like an early age in training. There's so many of you, you're so replaceable. So, you do have that, this could be it for me. I'm going to get replaced. And what if they don't want me? And they're not very human thoughts to have.
So how did you deal with those thoughts? And how did you motivate yourself to carry on and to be resilient to those no's?
Yeah, well, you find things that help. I do a lot of journaling because I find that as soon as I write things on like my notebook or on like a piece of paper, then it's out my head. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but I just found that works for me. And again, I used to take my training, my daily ballet classes, work on my technique. How can I like push the turn out? How can I get the leg higher? How can I get one more pirouette in? But actually, sometimes it's about just being in your body. And I have learned that, like, if I'm having a really, like, not a very good day or feeling positive, I've had to be like, this class is, like, again, meditative for me. Like, you put your blinkers on and it's almost like soul searching, as opposed to how can I work the technique? Yeah, it's what you need for the day. Yeah, exactly. And also, like, what you do on your days off, making something out of your day off. Like, sometimes when you've only got that one day a week, it's so easy when you're tired to stay in bed all day with Netflix. But actually doing the whole thing, no, I'm going to see that friend, I'm going to get up early and go to brunch. Like, you do feel better about it.
Getting up, making your bed, I've done that. Tick.
I've done that. The washing's on. Oh, I suppose just being like, oh God, I'm so tired. And
so what was your support network like growing up?
Well, I have an amazing mum and dad. I mean, they definitely knew that they had to push me to do it. When I mean that, I mean not like you will dance. I mean, be encouraging. And then my sister was also, I think was living like through me a little bit because my sister always loved to dance, but I just don't think she was ever given that opportunity to take it like in full-time thing. So I think she was kind of lives through me a little bit because she loves theatre. So yeah, they're incredibly supportive. I've got an amazing group of friends from the Hammond still, like my 4 besties that were all bridesmaids at my wedding. And I still see them every single, Australia was difficult, but we'd FaceTime once a week. They are such dear friends and 2 of them were in my year. One of them was on the drama course. Alex lived with me. We went to Rambeth School after Hammond, but we lived together in London. And then Claire Leary, the year above, she was the year above me in the lower school. But yeah, we hang out like every weekend. We're like best friends.
All right, that's it for another episode. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And wherever you are on your performer's path, stay safe and sane, and let your creative light shine bright on whatever you do.